his best laid plans undone, waiting for this tug of war to be won. There once was a chance for peace. He preferred to turn and fight back at war.
It's a good day. It's a good evening. It's a good morning. Welcome to 2017, and this is our first edition of 2017 of the Tom Ficklin Show, and that was Lara Herskovitz, formerly the Connecticut State Troubadour. And Lara's actually performed at a variety of events over the last 2 or 3, 4 years, but even more recently, the Delta Sigma Theta sorority had a community conversation at Bethel Church, and Lara performed there. Just more recently, the West Haven Black Coalition celebrated I think their 29th or 30th Martin Luther King celebration, and Lara performed there. You'll hear about her really up and down the East Coast. She's a national performer based here in Connecticut, Lara Herskovitz, and I appreciate her work. Woody Guthrie, other folk singers, I still like folk singing, Appalachian singing, country singing, just the America folklore in terms of how it's expressed from a musical standpoint. And Lara kind of bridges that gap in terms of a recent folklorist from a musical standpoint, but also she believes very much in social justice and social change. So it always gives me the opportunity. I love to spotlight performers and musical folks during my show. We'll conclude with something from Lara as well. Small business, the city of New Haven open for small business. That's the theme for today's program. And that might sound kind of strange when it's talk about the city of New Haven being open for not only open for small business, but open for business. And that does not imply that folks can purchase favor from the city, but it does imply that the city of New Haven is an economic driver, it is an economic force, and that folks can participate in the economic activity in terms of contracts and expenditures issued and directed by the city of New Haven. So we're going to show some clips from a recent small business open house. The clips primarily video footage that I captured. The clips primarily are from the small business open house that pertain to contractors and how contractors can get involved, and also subcontractors can get involved with the construction activity here in the New Haven, for the city of New Haven. But it's also just one reflection and aspect of the small business center that under the rubric of the New Haven city government, the Department of Economic and Economic Development. So we're going to go to a brief clip, and the intention of this show is to deliberately kind of tease, sometimes provoke, but actually stimulate that you might watch this show, then you might call the city, you might know a friend that you can refer him or her to this show to find out how you can get involved with becoming a contractor, a subcontractor, bidding on opportunities. Construction is a field, quite frankly, that is so vital and needed, and the skill set there is needed, but also it is competitive. So there are training programs that are available, open houses are going to be available, the Small Business Center for New Haven will be offering more services and classes. So this show is really, as I say, to kind of stimulate that interest in that activity, and to kind of remind us that if you're a citizen of New Haven, the city government works for you, and in this case, the city of New Haven is a small business driver, a small business recruiter, and even your small business could, who knows, grow to a large business. So Ricky, let's go to a brief clip from a recent open house from under the auspices of the city of New Haven, and it was the mayor's small business center reopening, I should say.
Once these projects are rolling, we'll have a pool of community residents that the subs and the primes can call upon to do the work that is required. They won't have to go outside of New Haven, outside of Connecticut, to pull in workers that they always say we can't find enough local workers. So we'll have that covered. We have a technical assistance program that we do for the Housing Authority, Section 8 ROB entrepreneurs. We train them in how to do their job, how to complete jobs. If it's construction related, that's fine. non-construction related, that's well too. We also have an ongoing OSHA 10 training program where we train the workers to get their OSHA certification. No one.
So again, that was actually Ray Harp, and I'm glad Ricky, by the way, is really assisting as always with this show and the staff here at CTV. But that was Ray Harp. Ray is the executive director of the Greater New Haven Business and Professional Association, which is a partner in the small business initiative here under the auspices of the City of New Haven. And Ray, as I say, as executive director of the Greater New Haven Business and Professional Association, which celebrated this past in 2016 its 50th anniversary. The 50th anniversary, which is really a very tremendous event that folks kind of came out and enjoyed and paid homage to the folks that have been kind of the founders of the Greater New Haven Business Professional Association, as well as the staff. Jerry Clark, many of you know, is recently retired for a long time, executive director. But at that event at Amarante's, some of the founders were there. Ed Cherry was there, and others that were founders 50 years ago, Willie Holmes, et cetera, of the Greater New Haven Business and Professional Association. But the Greater New Haven Business Professional Association will also be providing services for folks that want to kind of pursue their dream in 2017 of being an entrepreneur, of being an innovator, of being a creator, of being an employer, employing others. So how can small businesses get involved with what the city has to offer from a contractor standpoint, from a small business standpoint, from a technical assistance standpoint, the various legalities about LLC or what sort of corporate definition you might kind of decide, taxes, et cetera. There's a team that one needs to, if you're involved with creating your own business, you do need that team of support. And all those kind of nuances as well as practicalities of how to start a business, grow a business, nurture a business. Classes for free are being available on an ongoing basis, and just contact the City of New Haven Economic Development Administration. You can go there, you can click on, there's a file for small business, et cetera. But really, again, the show is to kind of stimulate for 2017. How does one manifest their vision, pursue their vision, really live and grow and grow to be, if not a sequoia, at least a pretty tall tree. Let's go to another clip. Again, kind of a teaser deliberately from the small business open house, the mayor's open house in this regard.
Who does all the planning, the scheduling, the estimating, the bidding. So bids for the work are bid to the construction manager, not to the city itself. So for Strong School, the city in the Board of Ed has hired Giordano Construction in partnership with Echo Urban Partners, specifically to engage small businesses and get them involved. So the bulk of the program is going to be from this team here, and I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you, Bob. I'd like to thank the mayor, members of your staff, the Board of Education, the aldermen, anyone else who had anything to do with our award for the Strong School. That just, as you know, that just doesn't come automatically. We're a four-generation company. We're working here in the city of New Haven, been working with EEO since its inception in the early 70s. We're on our Strong School represents our 10th school in the school construction program. And as Bob said, while workforce has been significant, okay, every CM in the program has been striving and struggling, if you will, to bring in more small contractor workforce into the program. And one of the reasons why we're here tonight is not only our track record, but our commitment with Echo Urban Pioneers and their associates, as well as ours, to bring more small business to the program.
That was a gentleman, because Giordano is one of the major contractors here in New Haven. And what we're trying to communicate for this particular program is, even if you're just starting out and don't know where to go, there are opportunities now to learn the path. Excuse me, the pathway for to becoming a contractor, to aligning with people to take classes. There is a reference to a school that's being built on the Southern Connecticut State University campus. And there was a reference also to the Commission for Equal Opportunity, which under Angel Fernandez is now up and running again. So there are always not a lot, but there are always some moving parts in terms of how things become cohesive. But for you to become a cohesive person and an agent a consistent agent in this innovation and creativity kind of desire. Contact the City of New Haven, find out about the Small Business Assistance Center, find out about the contracting opportunities. From a personal, from a personal reflection standpoint, there's a friend of mine from my family whom I didn't know that well. I was younger, he was much older than me, by the name of Dick Dowdy, but during the Lee administration, the Richard Lee administration, he was involved with contracting opportunities and small businesses and how to businesses native to New Haven grow. And again, because the city is kind of it's our city. The city government is our city government. And the contractors assistance programs have been operating here in New Haven for several decades. This is the latest iteration, but it's a very solid iteration with training, with accessibility, with information being widely shared. So the theme of the show is the City of New Haven is open for small business, and the doors are wide open, and it's something for us to kind of walk through and hold our head high, and also then lastly, of course, to take advantage of the training, the technical assistance, the free classes, the advice, the expertise, and the procedure for what's involved with certifications and insurance and bonding, et cetera. So it's across the board, and something that I hope for 2017, this particular program might help to kind of compel and inspire some folks to kind of pursue their dreams from a business entity standpoint. So let me tease you again with a little clip from the small business open house, or the mayor's open house in this regard.
Not only be subcontractors on this next project, but they'll have the opportunity to be the prime contractor on this next project. So that's something, as we get closer to bid time, we'll certainly give everybody more information on that, how we're going to put these smaller set-aside bid packages together. But it's going to give opportunity to only the contractors in the SCD program, which are mostly New Haven-based contractors. Just want to review the bid process really quick. I know it's a long ways off, but I want everybody to be aware of what's going to happen right before we bid the project. The first thing that we do is, once we get approval from the state, it's got to be publicly advertised. So you'll see advertisements in the paper. We usually do a Sunday ad. We do a lot of online stuff as well, but it has to be in print. So we usually do the major newspapers, New Haven Register, Harper Current. Prior to bid time, or right around bid time, I didn't mention, but you're gonna pass out a list to everybody get email addresses. So we're going to be, as I said, we are going to be communicating with all the contractors from now until we get closer to bid time.
So again, we heard these words: subcontracting, contracting, bid list, being in contact. You know, life is often like that. How do we, the interconnection, the consistent kind of being in touch with folks, communicating with people, touching base, checking base, being on people's radar screen. That's really the key to not only, I think, growing your business, but even the key to success, and maybe even the key to your self-fulfillment. But again, the title of this show and the theme of this show is the City of New Haven is open for business, and we've seen some clips from a recent open house, the mayor's small business open house. And so for 2017, find out what's going on in terms of the small business academies, the small business technical assistance, the Commission for Equal Opportunity, what they're doing. You just go to the city website, and you'll see kind of those drop downs. Classes are underway. They're free. Technical assistance classes are underway. Counseling, kind of the roadmap to success. You may think, well, only 20% of me wants to start a business, or I know nothing about carpentry or masonry or being an electrician. But perhaps this is the time to kind of explore what really means, what your self-definition is, and not to be restricted or limited in terms of your self-definition. Perhaps this is the year to really expand your vision and your conception of what does it mean to be really a profitable person, but profitable in terms of your own particular profit, but how can you also profit others? How can others be a profit to you? How can you be a profit to others, if you follow me? The pay forward philosophy. Not to get too philosophical in terms of the recent political climate and the electoral college climate and the 45th president climate, but I think it's clear. It's always been clear that in terms of pulling ourselves up from our bootstraps and creating some sort of independence, either metaphorically or financially or even semi-financially. And the pursuit of independence and economic freedom is nothing that we can kind of go to sleep on. Let's stay awake, as the young people would say. And again, in terms of the city of New Haven being open for small business, let's pursue that. That's what the city is saying. Let's kind of make the city live up to that mantra and that theme of open for business for its citizens. And let's go for another clip as a teaser. Again, this event was recently held. The city of New Haven, the mayor's small business reception, and that there will be other events. I'm just urging you this year to kind of really pursue with vigor what's available to you and what might be available to some of your friends and your network and close associates.
Challenges, and let me tell you, everybody was out together because they set aside. Why would we want to have a sheltered market? Why do we want to have a set aside? But New Haven has always been committed to the local small minority contractor. And it's a great credit because what we are now is a model for the whole construction industry. No matter where you go, they talk about New Haven's program. And it's really thanks to the citizens of New Haven that have been committed to this for all these years. And actually, I have to say, I'm really proud of the fact that I was part of the team 18 years ago that worked on developing the second go-round of the program. I've been around for a while. What is this program? What is when we talk about the small contractor program, what our program does is every construction and construction-related offering bid in the city, be it through LCI for graffiti removal, be it through traffic and parking, for road striping, everything 0 to 150,000 is bid only to the contractors in our program. That means the big guys don't bid. The bigger contracts, the $150,000 and over contracts, have a 25% MVE subcontracting requirement. No contract gets signed off and approved until we review that every possible subcontracting opportunity has been explored. And that's a major accomplishment. It's tough, it takes a lot of work. Sometimes the department heads complain, Lil, you're taking too long, we want to process this. But we say no because we are committed to offering every single possible opportunity.
That was, actually, Ricky, I'm glad I forgot that I had included that segment. That was Lil Snyder. Lil is a key person to get to know in the city government. You may have heard her reference that she's been there for 18 years plus. And she also referenced the fact that the city of New Haven has been scrutinized and even legally challenged to some degree about the set-aside program, saying that this particular program making emphasis and reserving some of the contracts for New Haven residents. And again, that sometimes has been subject to a legal challenge about why that should be legal. But again, if we're city taxpayers, we should perhaps, get some return on our investment. This is very clearly return on our investment. But Lil Snyder that you saw there, she's a key person to get to know in city government, involved deeply with the contractors assistance kind of program. And you heard a reference about the database and being a part of the program and being registered. Also having your licenses in order. A key person to get to know in city government, Lil Snyder. I'm glad we had a chance to show that particular clip because it indicates that social justice, social change, what does that mean? That really means, social communication, social interaction, social relationships. It's just fundamental. So call Lil, city. You want to find out more about the contracting opportunities. You may have some friends, and even I'm actually kind of urging you also, even if you have no interest at all in starting a business or in contracting, there's no doubt that someone at your church, someone at your club, someone at your job, someone that you know, someone at where you go to get your hair done or your nails done or your haircut, someone that you have a relationship with, either direct or indirect, can benefit from knowing about that the city of New Haven is open for businesses, it is open for small businesses, it is open for minority businesses. And so that's the purpose of this show, to really just urge us to take advantage of what's available, and to maximize the investment of your time and energy in terms of the return on investment, not only for yourself, but let's think generationally. We heard the term Giordano. That's been a family business here in New Haven, construction, et cetera. And so let's hope that 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, 50 years from now, I should say, some businesses that are started this year from the City of New Haven Small Business Assistance Center, some businesses birthed this year in 2017, will be around in 2050, that will be around in 2080. The long-term view is really important from my standpoint for inspiration, courage, and manifesting and visualizing what success really means over the long term. I think we might have time to squeeze in one or two more clips. Let's go to another clip real quickly.
If you will, to those contractors who will ultimately register with Will's program and bid work and receive some of the work, whether it's prime contractors for the small program that we talked about earlier, or subcontractors for some of the other. So at this point, I'd like to introduce our associate, Shafiq Abdusabur from Echo Shafiq.
Good evening, Mayor, alders, and the community, and our partners. My name is Shafiq Abdusabur. I'm the founder, co-founder, actually my wife is the other half, so you know probably who founded the company, right? My wife and I co-founded the company back in 2009 out of the spirit of urban community development, creating jobs, and really trying to take advantage of a lot of what Ray Hart talked about in terms of the economic development and the potential for growth for the urban community. So we are a second generation company, as I am training my son, Ismail Abdusabur, who you hear from shortly, training him in the industry as well, because we know that this is one of the broken chains in our community, particularly African American community. So, you know, this is an opportunity that we sought out with the Giordano company. I mean, Giordano is obviously a proven construction company, have done the work, they are expert at what they do, and we're looking to become an expert at what we do and be able to deliver that to other communities such as New Haven. So we came together. This is not a relationship that's born out of a reaction, but we actually been doing business for about 2.5 years, maybe even a little longer. But we first met back, I believe it was 2011. So, I mean, we've been doing business, and we've come up with, really, this is a business innovation. It's never really been done before. Never really been done before that two companies have come together, particularly African-American-based company has merged with a larger company on a school construction project to come up with a solution to fix a problem. And we started off in the industry, we're still struggling. We know the hurdles, we understand what is sometimes perceived as barriers, and we've sat down in a lot of meetings to figure out how we remove those barriers. So one part of that is we have 12 workshops that we've designed that are tailored specifically to help minority companies and small business contractors be ready for bid day. Anybody can show up to a bid meeting, but can you actually get the contract? Anybody can get a contract sometimes, but can you actually finish the contract successfully and have enough money to go on vacation, right? Because that's the goal. You want to have actually a profit. So we've talked about this. We've come up with what we believe is a very well selection of tailored workshops geared specifically towards the companies. We've also come up with this, I believe it's an ingenious idea, of what we're calling the Minority Showcase, which would be an area of the school that's dedicated, focusing on the strengths of the small and minority contractors of New Haven. So when the mayor goes in on ribbon cutting day, she looks down and says, wow, who did all this great work? We say, all of your local contractors, man. And she goes, great. Right? So that's what we're looking to do. Right? We want the community to be able to walk through these schools. Karen Walton Du Bois, who is the executive director for housing, when we were working on, then it was Hire One over in Science Park. And we were talking about, you know, why it's important. And I would say, well, it's important because we can give jobs to people. And she said, no, it's not about just the jobs. She said, I'll take you back to when you were working on Quinnipiac, when we were doing work on Quinnipiac. She says, and when the father drives by with their child and says, I helped build that. That's social equity. And so it's not just about money and contracts. It's about us building social equity within our community. And we don't do that one person, we don't do it with just the mayor, we do it with the community. So this is a community effort, and this is two business families coming together. And we want you to hold us accountable for this project, and we are going to hold you accountable for the project as well. So, we're excited to move forward. I would just remind everybody, on the back here, there's a tear-off, an information tear-off. Please make sure that you either fill that out and give it back to us, or leave it. We also have cards. One of the things, and I'll mention this, on how sometimes, how aggravating it can be for a minority company trying to get a contract. Can I have your card? Well, who do I call? Well, you're going to find that all of our cards lead you back to one destination. You can send the mail to one place, you can send the fax to one place, and you can reach everybody on their cell phone. So there's no ambiguity as to how you get on this job, how you get a contract. And we're hoping that this is just not the last of you cities. I mean, this is something that we hope in the future becomes a trademark, if you will, or even the new style of how we do business in New Haven, how we do business about big contracts. And we start them off at the beginning with a small contractor in mind. They're part of the plan. They don't become part of it.
I was really kind of immersed in listening to Shafiq, again, because he mentioned the classes that they're involved with. He mentioned the generational aspect. That was his son in the blue to his left. And it's just so key for 2017. Really want to thank, as usual, Joe and Ricky and the team here, and Tim, et cetera, and at CTV for, again, providing this opportunity. That's Lara Hershkovitz. We're going to end with her. And thanks again, CTV. Thanks again, community. See you soon.
Waiting for this tug of war to be won. There once was a chance for peace. He preferred to turn and fight, back at war with himself yet another night. One eye open, always open, and on the door. Mr. Hyde got what he wanted. What he wanted was more. The change used to be like a light switch. He drank that